the solution was actually very simple. So for you to actually use a for and if. So the for loop was to iterate through the elements, and the if was to actually make sure that you check for the biggest numbers. So let's say we have a list of numbers. So let's say 2, then 45, 34, then we have that, maybe that, and maybe that, and 1. So let's assign this to maybe a variable called the numbers. Then the next thing we want to do is we want to start iterating through all these elements. So remember that we learned about for loop. So we're going to say for, maybe let's say for numbers in now the numbers. So what we are trying to do here is we are creating a simple variable here. So we are trying to iterate through this list. Then we would want to update now a list. So let's first create actually a placeholder to all our vast values so that we can keep updating and checking for the largest value. So let's say now you have here a greatest number. So let's assign it to the first element. So remember, the first element is always used accessed using indexing 0. So we are setting now our largest number to 2. Then we want to iterate through all this. Then we want to compare again. Is 45 greater than 0? Yes. Then assign 45. 45 greater than 34? No. Then keep iterating. 75? Yes. Now assign our new greatest number as 75. Is 685 greater? Yes. Now assign our new greatest number to 678. So to do that, we are going to say now our greatest in all the iterations. So let's say if the number is actually greater than the greatest, so greater than the first index. So what we are doing here is we are checking if at the current iteration is it greater than the first assigned number. Then we would like to update now the value. So we are going to say greatest number. Now we assign it to now the number. So it will now assign it to this value. So we are going now to print this. So we're going to say print greatest number. So let's run and see what happens. So we find that the greatest number now becomes 896. So let's say now we have different values. So let's say 50, then 70, and maybe 4. So if you now run the program, let's see what will happen. Well, we now have 70. So what this actually does is, for this short 3 lines of code, we are actually trying to iterate through using a for loop. So let's see for numbers. So for all these elements, then if the current iteration is greater than the greatest first assigned number, then keep updating that value. So what this does is, now we have 2 at this point. We now have 2. Then we go to the next line. Is 2 greater than 45? Yes. Now this becomes 45. Then we go back to our loop. So 34, is 34 greater than 45? No. Keep going. Is 50 greater than 45? Yes. Now update our value to 50. Then our current number is updated to 50. Then it goes again, it found 70. Is 70 greater than 50? Of course. Then it now assigns this to 70. Is 70 greater than 8? No. Then it ends that at that place, and then it prints that value. So that was really a quick one. So the next thing we want to focus on is a to-do list.